Hey, everybody, it's me, Matt Whitman, from the podcast you're about to listen to.
Yeah.
And that sigh that you are hearing
Yeah.
is a sigh of resignation and disappointment because Destin is making us do a content warning again. Destin, this is your idea. You explain yourself.
Yeah, we're talking about Pompeii, and there's just some stuff that went down in Pompeii. And I think that there's a point.
What kind of stuff?
I'm not going to say it. There's a point later in this episode where we say a single word. Well, you say a single word over and over and over. And
you were laughing pretty hard when I was saying it.
I was laughing.
Act above it.
But I just think that parents and guardians should listen to it before they allow children to listen to this. That's
okay.
Yeah.
And just in case people turn it off, in my own defense, let me just say that the word I keep saying is the correct clinical, medical, anatomical term for a certain male body part that is perhaps a bit overrepresented in the art of Pompeii.
True.
And so it just gets mentioned.
A lot.
Maybe a little bit. Maybe a lot. Also, the other thing that we talk about, that it's not like a swear or anything. It's just a really bleak human practice. It's a particularly bleak aspect of something that people have done to other people for a very long time. And I wouldn't want a podcast dictating to me and my family that now I have to talk about that with my kids. So you might want to listen to it first. I know it's been a couple years, but we've been waiting to talk about it because I knew you were going to make a video about it, and I knew you were thinking deeply about it. But you went to one of the most interesting places in the world to me.
Same.
And I watched your video, and it seems like you had quite the experience there. What'd you think of Pompeii?
Dude, Pompeii was amazing. It was fantastic. And it's not a Polynesian island like I used to think when I was a kid.
Oh, I guess I'd never thought about that until you brought it up, but it does kind of have that ring. I always spelled it the same as I spelled Pompey the General from Rome for a real long time, all the way into college, getting a history degree. And I got made fun of by the other history boys. It was embarrassing.
So Pompey the General, I always referred to him as Pompey. Is that not how you say his name?
Some people do, some people don't.
Okay.
It's from the same word. They both mean five.
Oh.
So I don't know how one ended up meaning five and you spell it with an E and two I's at the end. That's the town. The town is Pompeii. The general, Gnaeus Magnus Pompey, is Pompey. And a lot of fancy people I know say Pompey, but do you hear how that sounds? Did you hear it?
I heard it, yeah.
Do you feel good about saying the word Pompey?
No, I don't. But no. Isn't there a place in Rome like the Theater of Pompey? Isn't that where Caesar was killed? Am I remembering this correctly?
Mm-hmm. It was near there. Pompey built a bunch of stuff. I'm going to say Pompey and Pompeii, by the way. We're just for the sake of the conversation.
Okay.
We're going to go Pompey for the dude and Pompeii for the town.
Okay.
But I'm not giving up this ground. I think that people who say Pompeii when they're talking about the general are just fine. Okay. Pompey was wildly successful about 70 plus 50, about 110, 120 years before Mount Vesuvius erupted and destroyed the city of Pompeii.
Okay.
There's a big gap there.
Yeah.
Pompey was Julius Caesar's really good buddy, and he was a part of the triumvirate with Julius Caesar. But eventually they ended up on opposite sides of the argument. Not even really an argument. They ended up on opposite sides of a popularity contest. Pompey really liked his popularity. He liked getting triumphs. Do you know what a triumph is?
Is that the arch? Like you would build an arch in the city? No. I feel
well, the arch would a lot of times be dedicated, or the ground would be broken at the same time that you would get a triumph. A triumph is a parade. That's when you come back and you're like, hey, looky here, I have these barbarian kings, and they are naked and they are in a cage, and I will parade them through Rome to show you what we went and did. And
that's a triumph?
here are spoils. We will throw coins. We will throw Alemanni or German gold to you. We defeated them. Here is some of their gold. thank you for coming to our thing. You might get gold instead of candy like what we got when we were kids. But the whole practice of chucking candy to kids in a parade, that's derived from a Roman triumph where they would throw out
really,
money.
Mm-hmm. And Alemán, sorry, squirrel here, but Alemán is Spanish for German, right? Germany?
Yeah.
Really? And
yep,
that's because Spanish is a
called them the Alemán.
Romantic language. Weird. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, you're right on it. So Pompey, you're asking about his theater. He did a lot in terms of philanthropy and public works and things that made Pompey look cool. Pompey was pompous. Also, he got made fun of all the time for being overly devoted to his wife and liking to take long breaks at being at home. So he's kind of a mixed bag in terms of, he's kind of the foil to Julius Caesar, and everybody likes Caesar. So Pompey gets a bad rap, and he's a politician. He was a warrior. He's going to be a mixed bag. And there are things about him that I think you'd really resonate with, and other things about him that I think you might not like as much.
Tell me more about the wife thing.
I don't remember much more about it other than he was legitimately in love, at least for a good part of his marriage. And he didn't necessarily, maybe he married for position or some sort of family alliance or political alliance. But even if that's how it started, it seems like he really liked her and she really liked him back. And I'm pretty sure I remember reading about Pompey even getting made fun of and ribbed because he wouldn't step out on his wife along with the other politicians and military people who just, always had an endless litany of side women. Pompey, I don't think, did that. And maybe I'm remembering the story wrong, but I know he got made fun of for that.
That would be a really good thing to be remembered for.
Yeah, I suppose it would. Yeah.
Okay.
But he also wanted to be remembered for building things. So that would be part of the deal as well. At any rate, we're not trying to talk about Pompey. I sidetracked us horribly.
Yeah, but
we're talking about
you did bring up an interesting
Pompeii.
question, though. You brought up an interesting question, is how will you be remembered? That's an interesting question, right?
What are you going for?
I mean,
what are you going for?
I don't know. I mean, I do know I have private ambitions, but it's not fame and fortune and all that kind of stuff. I want to be remembered as a person of integrity, a person that tried really hard and did the right thing, even if it was not politically expedient. A Christian. I think that's super important. And so when we look back at these people in Pompeii and Pompey and all that, it makes me think about all that stuff. What about you? Have you got that nailed down, what you want to be remembered for?
No, but it's starting to bother me.
Why?
I've seen some people in recent times die before they were expecting to.
Yeah.
And they're young. I look at that and I think, well, your legacy is now cemented. And I wonder if that's what you were going for, or if you were like, I'm going to do this for this chapter. And then at this later point in life, I'm going to try to really cement this. I'm going to really try to nurture these virtues and these values and would love to leave a legacy of this. I think you got to think about that young and throw energy at it young. Do you want to be known as, for example, a person of integrity? Well, you can run through that opportunity pretty quick before you're even 30 years old. You can come back from anything, I guess, but those are, positive virtues are built over a very long time. Think of it like this. Winning a title for being a great home run hitter is a fundamentally different exercise than having the lowest ERA in the history of baseball. In one of those two things, you proactively go and do a thing a lot. I hit a lot of home runs, and each time I hit one, the home run count goes up. It's cumulative. But to get your earned run average in baseball to go down, you just need to not fail for a very long time. That's different psychologically, right?
Yeah, I think that's why I like Cal Ripken Jr. so much.
Mm-hmm.
I think so, because it's like he's just the Iron Man. He's just going to go. He's going to do it. He's going to be consistent. He's not going to juice and eat a lot of Wheaties, and we'll just pretend that's how they hit the home runs. He's just going to be good for an extended period of time, and that's why he's my favorite baseball player. Unlike yours, who cheated with pine tar. He tarnished his whole name.
How does pine tar help you hit home runs? Destin, walk me through it. You're something of an engineer.
Yeah, it's a grip thing, And I mean, like George Brett, his entire legacy comes down to that one pine tar incident. I'm joking.
Yeah,
Brett's
you've
great.
seen the home run, right? It looks like the ball probably pretty clearly struck the handle on that home run down where the pine tar was.
What is the pine tar rule?
You're something of an engineer, so you probably would know that a profoundly sticky substance would probably make a baseball go way further, right?
No doubt.
You might think I'm on the defensive and mad. I am. Yeah.
Is that so? What is George Brett, your favorite player? What's he known for? Third base, Royals.
Playing hard.
Yeah.
Going hard, being a good teammate. Yep, going hard, playing the game the right way, and playing within his abilities. Great contact hitter, really impressive inside-out swing, so he could use the whole field from the plate. A really smooth, pretty swing, a gritty, tough player, good teammate. And longevity. He's the only guy who ever won a batting title in 3 different decades. So that's pretty good.
Really?
Yeah.
That's amazing. That's awesome.
Yeah. 76, 80, and 90.
So he was good for a long period of time.
Yeah, and a good chap for a long period of time. But the pine tar incident is what everybody remembered, which, of course, he had a home run against the dreaded, hated Yankees, and then Weasley manager Billy Martin comes out and grabs Brett's bat. And the pine tar, which is a grip aid, it just helps the bat not slip in your hand because they always use wood bats. It couldn't go further up the handle than the width of home plate. So he set it on home plate after Brett won the game with a home run and was like, look, that little bit of the pine tar goes slightly further up the bat handle than the width of home plate. And the dopey umpires, instead of being like, this is stupid, Billy, they called Brett out. Then Brett, comes unhinged and he goes charging out of the dugout. And frankly, I kind of love that Viking berserker thing that he did.
Yeah, he did. I just like somebody's trying to contain him and they can't. Yeah. Yeah, I just have that clip in my mind.
And so people who don't know any better, they hear that and they're like, the pine tar incident. He cheated. How would that help you? No, he got technicalitied on a weaselly thing. But back to your question of legacy, what do you want to be remembered for? The most memorable image of my favorite baseball player's career is the one you just imagined, with him freaking out and coming tearing out of the dugout with a mouthful of chaw, blonde hair everywhere, ready to murder Billy Martin. Then, legacy, man. You kind of get stuck with what you get stuck with, but it's fun to imagine that we have a lot of control over that.
I've heard someone say that a lot of times if a person can exit the scene before they just screw up the legacy, then they'd be okay. Like, for example, Benedict Arnold, right?
What do you mean? What do you mean?
Who's Benedict Arnold?
He is the epitome of a traitor.
Yeah, traitor.
That's a dude who'll stab you in the back. He's a traitor. That's what he's known for.
What's so interesting is Benedict Arnold was hit in the leg by a musket ball in a previous engagement fighting for the Americans. And had that musket ball hit him in the heart, he'd be a hero today.
Yeah, you're right.
But he lived longer.
Yeah, there'd be middle schools named for him.
Yeah, and I don't know the situation. I haven't dug deeply into that part of history, but I'm sure he had his reasons. I don't know exactly what happened. It's interesting, isn't it?
It is. Do you feel that when you read about history from the perspective of the great men and women who made it? Do you feel that when you read about Rome and Greece and Alexander, that sense of, man, we're still talking about these people 2,300 years later. What am I doing with my life? Do you feel any of that pressure?
No, I don't.
Is it because you're doing something with your life?
I don't know. What do you mean by that?
Well, how much do you care? I mean, do people like that inspire you? Do they even matter? Is it just a historical curiosity? Those great men and women?
People that I find to be completely fascinating are people that were living in a very critical moment and they rose to the occasion. Like Winston Churchill, right? There was this great thing happening in Europe and he rose up and he was like, it's time to do something. And he did. He rallied the people and they fought. I think it's interesting. People that live in a certain time where there's an actionable thing they can do and it takes courage and they do it or they say the thing. I think that's special. I think that's a very important thing. Our world is weird right now. Our world's quite weird, and I don't know what to do. But I think there will be a moment when leadership is important. I just don't know that it's now. It's something I've thought about. Have you thought about that?
Yes, I think about that a lot.
Yeah, I know.
And I think a lot about when to cash in my chips.
I do.
I'm sitting on a lot of them, man. There's a lot of news stories that have come down my waterfall app. Man, it's free views. It's free clicks. Just go say something about that. And every now and then I see something come up. I think I actually have something to contribute to that conversation that might be a little bit helpful. I'll use some of the tokens of whatever goodwill I have amassed with a handful of people on the internet. I'll use them here. But for the most part, I just take those pitches and let them go by because they haven't seemed like the thing that matters yet. I'd rather use whatever credibility I have on conversations with a friend, trying to think hard about your life, what you're doing, faith, Bible, things that are bigger and more timeless than us that I actually think will help people and make their lives better. But for the most part, I'm waiting. I think there's a time coming where maybe there'll be things that you and I are called upon to do. People from our generation will be called upon to do something or serve in some way. And I hope I'm equal to the task if called upon to help. And if there is no great urgent matter that requires me to be pressed into service in that way, I hope I do something good in the meantime that helps somebody, that advances things that are transcendent, meaningful, and good. I could be content with that legacy.
Same. I think one of the most important things you and I can do right now is to invest in our family. I think that's super important, hyper important.
I agree.
That's what I'm spending time on right now. So Pompeii
Yeah.
got destroyed by a volcano. So
It did.
What are your
Yeah, well, there's a reason that I hooked us back around to that legacy stuff, though, right? What are you going to be remembered for? What are you doing with this life? What did you expect going in, and how did it compare to what you got?
I expected to see all the engineering. I expect full working aqueducts and pipes everywhere and things like that. I had read about the bakery, that it still existed. I did not expect the roads at all. The cleverness that went into the building of the roads was amazing. And also the brothel in the spa, I didn't see that coming. I didn't see the art on the walls. And apparently they could just go in and point at pictures that were still on the walls and be like, hey, I want a number 3 and number 3.
Oh, that sounded awful. Just hearing your voice say that phrase
right
in that context, I am tensed up. I
didn't like it.
Enjoy that.
I didn't like it at all.
Ooh.
Yeah.
And let me tell you, ancient Roman erotica, man, they had their outlook on things and they were not afraid to paint it.
Yeah, that was bizarre, wasn't it?
Uh-huh.
That was unexpected. I did not expect to see that in Pompeii. Specifically the Vetti house. So our guides there, I'm just going to throw a shout out for my guide, Chiro, PompeiTourGuide.com. Wonderful guide. If you go to Pompeii,
Smart guy.
I highly recommend going with Chiro. He's from Italy, and you can tell because he's got an Italian accent, culturally, he's Italian, and it's just really fun to get a tour from Chiro.
And he's generationally descended from Pompeii tour guides, right? I mean, we haven't talked about that, but I thought you said that in the video.
Yeah, he's a 4th generation tour guide, and you can tell because of the URL he got, PompeiTourGuide.com. Like you couldn't get that today if you wanted it.
He won that one.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, indeed. What was his warm-up? I know you didn't give us everything on the front end of the tour, but how did he characterize to you what the whole proposition is? What is Pompeii? What happened here? What was his 10,000-foot view summary?
Yeah, so 79 AD, there was a large eruption of Mount Vesuvius, and the city of Pompeii was covered by pyroclastic flow, which is not lava. When you think of a volcano destroying a village or a town, at least I thought of red magma, lava flowing down a hillside and just covering everything in rock and setting it on fire. Not what happened in Pompeii. So Pompeii, so there were 3 towns. So if you imagine Mount Vesuvius is right on the coast of Italy on the western side.
For the sake of this description, let's put it in the middle point of a clock.
Okay.
Mount Vesuvius is where the two hands meet in the very center of a traditional analog clock.
Okay. So the coast, in that scenario, the coast is at 9 o'clock.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
And that's where the city of Herculaneum is. And if you go down to like the 7:30, between 7 and 8, maybe up towards 8 o'clock, there's another town there called Aplantis.
Okay.
And then straight down, almost 6 o'clock, is Pompeii. Initially, when the eruption happened, there was this big explosion, and Herculaneum and Aplantis just got blasted quickly. And we know this because of, did you say it was Pliny the Younger? Is that correct?
I always have trouble keeping Pliny the Younger and Pliny the Elder straight because of how much of their name is the same.
Mm-hmm.
So I can't remember. I feel like the Younger wrote about the Elder shuttling back and forth in boats and helping people get away from the flow. But I haven't looked it up and I don't remember for sure. It's one of them.
Yes. My understanding is Pliny the Younger was across the bay, and he was an eyewitness to the whole thing going down. And so he was like not at 9 o'clock at Herculaneum. He was like across the water. There's a little bitty stretch of water in between. Like if you go past Herculaneum, you keep going, that's where he was. He was in another town over there, and they had a Roman fleet over there. And Pliny the Elder, they got on a fleet and they went and they started to do some evacuation. Like during 9/11, there was a lot of firefighters that ran towards the buildings. That's what Pliny the Elder did with the fleet. Pliny the Younger was over at Misenum. How do you say that? Misenum?
I don't know. I don't know the town.
Yeah, Misenum. It was across the bay from Herculaneum.
Okay, but to be clear, if we're sure it was Pliny the Younger, then that makes the story add up. That means Pliny the Elder not only was rescuing people, but died trying.
Correct. He died
one
there.
of the two died in the, yeah.
From what I read,
okay,
he
so
was
it's got to be
fat.
Pliny the Younger who...
Yeah.
Oh, well, I mean, that can happen, man. A lot of those Roman noblemen got pretty pudgy in their old age. Marius had a reputation for being particularly stout 170 years earlier.
Well,
the old generals, they got tubby.
What I read is Pliny the Elder, took the fleet over and they were trying to save people, and they did there's really interesting stuff. Like they tied some type of cushions to their heads because rocks were falling from the sky. They were like, I need a cushion on my head. And so they were figuring stuff out in real time. And a lot of people died of asphyxiation. I think Pliny the Elder, from what I read, it sounds like a heart attack is what it sounds like to me. Maybe he didn't get enough oxygen or something, but he just kind of got tired and sat down and died.
Oh.
They went back and got him, and he didn't seem to be like pummeled to death by rocks or anything like that. That's my understanding.
I remember that, but was just not particularly responsive.
Yeah, it's almost like he went hypoxic. It's fascinating. Or maybe carbon dioxide running down the hill or something.
I don't want to die.
Exactly. So it's pretty fascinating. And so...
just imagine that scene, dude.
Right?
I mean, they were trying to go Dunkirk on the situation. Or even 9/11. Like, when tragedy strikes near water, people think to themselves, how can I help? How do I rise to the occasion? And historically, there's a whole bunch of moments where people were like, I have a boat. All the land routes out are choked off. The only way to save these people is for me to take my modest fishing boat and go try. And so there's this whole flotilla of, this makeshift impromptu navy that crops up from all of the local people trying to go and help their neighbors. What a scene. And they don't know how to defend against it. They don't know what they're sailing into. There's just a lot of forgotten bravery there from very normal people, including a dude whose talents were such that he probably should have saved his own hide and not tried to save anyone because he's one of the 5 preeminent historians of Roman times. I mean, how much knowledge of Rome are you and I deprived of right now? Because even though he wasn't the most fit to do it, he didn't evaluate his own significance and instead valued, hey, I have hands, I have legs, I have the ability to do something. I've got to try. mean, it's a pretty remarkable thing that Pliny the Elder did and other people like him did.
Absolutely. One of the things I find interesting is I start to think about the engineering implications of a bunch of hot stuff going up into the sky. Hot air rises, right?
Yeah, that's the rumor.
So the top of Vesuvius blows off, or whatever it does, and all this hot air is going up. Well, I'm in a boat, and I'm launching from across the bay. I'm heading towards Herculaneum, right? I'm sailing there. I'll probably get there pretty quick. But what do you think's happening to the wind? It's probably rushing towards the volcano and rising up the side of it.
Oh.
Right?
Well, I hadn't thought about that at all.
One of the things I've thought about is they probably got there, and I heard a lot of people say they got in close, they got people on the boats, and they couldn't get out. And I think it's because they had a wind rushing in towards land.
Wow.
Yeah.
I mean, which it would want to do anyway. Sea breezes come in. But
so you got to row out.
But now that's wildly amplified. And wow, think about that. All these people, there's the old man in the sea. They all know these waters like the back of their hand. They know which way the wind blows at what time of day and which seasons. They're masters of this. And something they've never experienced in their entire life is happening that would scramble all of their knowledge, everything they know about what to do and how to proceed in that moment. Suddenly it doesn't work. It's like a trap.
Yeah.
In other words, their knowledge was working against them in that moment if your assessment is true.
Can you imagine what it would be like to be on that boat with an overweight, asthmatic bookworm, as I've heard him described, Pliny the Elder, as he's running towards to save people? That's messed up. So he runs in there, tries to save people. They get some out. But yeah, he ends up kind of dying on the shore there. It's not unlike a friend of mine who I used to go to church with named Michael that climbed a mountain in Peru. And he got really high up there, and he turns to his friend, and he's like, I'm pretty tired. I think I'm just going to take a nap. And he's like, no, you cannot take a nap. But I'm really sleepy. I just want to lay down. No, man, that's how people die. You can't.
Yeah.
And so so he just talked about how he wanted to lay down and sleep. No, it was hypoxia.
Yeah, but did he make it out?
I guess I should finish the story. Yes, he did.
Thank you. A lot of times in stories that involve life and death, the really interesting payoff we're all waiting for is life or death.
Well, I didn't want to spoil it for you. Know. Yeah.
I wanted it spoiled. Please.
How many times have you been to Pompeii?
I'm not sure. I think 3.
What?
I've had groups with me every time, and all those group trips, they run together, so I have a little trouble keeping it straight. I think I'm at 13 times in Rome.
What?
Total. And it seems like I've gone down to Pompeii about... Yeah.
Did you go to Herculaneum?
Maybe 3, maybe 4. No, I've never been.
Oh, man.
No, I've only been to Pompeii, because every time I take a group, who wants to go to Herculaneum?
Me
They
now?
want to go to the thing they've heard of. They want to go to the thing that Bastille wrote a song about and that Kit Harington made a movie about. They want to go to the famous thing. You got to use your time wisely. So we go to Pompeii.
Have you been to the National Archaeological Museum in Naples?
Nope. Still haven't.
Oh, dude.
I've only been through Naples boringly a few times, and I've never stopped at Monte Cassino Abbey. I've driven by it desperately looking out the window. How many times? There it is.
What is that?
That's where one of the main threads of monasticism, of Christian monk life started, was right there in between Rome and Naples.
Oh, interesting.
That's where the Benedictine order is from.
Mm.
Yeah, I want to see that, but Monte Cassino is this ancient abbey monastery up on the hill, but it got bombed out by the Allies in World War II.
Oh, come on,
so
Allies.
Very little of the original stuff is still there. Well, you got to beat the Nazis. What are you going to do? Avalanche and Overlord, you got to win.
What?
So
what does
there's
that,
not much
what
of
does
it
that
left,
mean?
but
Avalanche and Overlord. What does that mean?
What? Operation Avalanche and Operation Overlord were the two big... imagine the old-timey movie reel.
Okay.
The Allies are on the move again.
Okay.
Mussolini is on the run as the Allies press their way up the boot of Italy. Bombing at Monte Cassino Abbey. Regrettably, the Allies have to bomb out the Nazis who are dug in. You know, it's a picture of that kind of thing, right?
Oh, that sucks.
So the two big thrusts, the final maneuvers from the Allies were Operation Avalanche and Operation Overlord. They were the pincer move from below and from above to finish off the Axis powers, and that was in that final push, I think.
Was that in Italy or just
the
overall?
Bombing runs? Overall, that's from Northern Europe and from Southern Europe.
Interesting. Okay.
So at any rate, no, I haven't been to those other cool things. You're ahead of me on all of that.
No, so I do recommend going to
someday I'll catch up.
I do recommend going to the archaeological museum in Naples. I thought Naples was stressful to drive in, and I spent approximately 2 hours in Naples. I remember going to that museum.
Yeah, but it's not like you were forced to eat gas station octopus, so it could have been worse.
I was. So, yeah, good memory. That's a very good memory. I'm proud of you for that. Yeah, we did eat gas station octopus, but...
What a phrase.
Yeah.
I've never said that in that order.
Yeah, so imagine gas station pizza, but make it octopus, and that's a... So Tara and I were driving through, and we're like, "Hey, let's eat. Where do we want to eat?" Like, I don't know. They said don't drive into the city if you can avoid it. We're like, okay, well, let's just put in food in the GPS. I'm like, okay, it sounds like there's a family restaurant up here. Should we do it? Yeah, let's do it. So we go into this family restaurant, and it's a gas station, and we go in, and there's like a bunch of people eating. It's Sunday afternoon. And it looks like somebody's having a birthday party over there. They brought their own cake. And then over here, there's two guys smoking with a bottle of Coke in between them. And they're watching soccer. And then I walked in and in broken Italian. I don't even know how to say it anymore. How do you say table in Italian?
Tavolo.
Pavolo?
Tavolo.
Tavolo? Okay. I think I said tavolo for two, however you say that. I can't do it anymore.
Per due. Sure, you're on it.
Okay. So I did that. And he goes, okay, sure, no problem, in English. He's like, all right, today, seafood. I was like, that's great. Sounds wonderful. Then we go sit down, and he gives us pasta with seafood in it. There was shrimp, mussels, and there were octopus. And for me, I had like two little baby octopus in mine. Tara had like a whole family of octopus in her bowl.
Family?
And it was she's
like the barracuda from Finding Nemo.
It's like one of our most memorable meals in our entire marriage. It was fantastic. So
it's one of the most memorable meals I've ever heard of, and I wasn't even there.
It was so good. And so she looked at me with like, I've eaten so much octopus. Will you help me? I was like, yeah, I'll eat the octopus. And so it was great.
And if you are eating at an Italian restaurant in Italy, you answer the same way that you as a young man learned to answer in marriage. How do you like the casserole I made for you as your young wife?
It's wonderful.
It's great. Could I have some more? And you better dang well say that if you're in Italy when you're eating gas station octopus, or they will run you out of there.
Gosh, man, it's so messed up. They were kind. So that museum's great. However, I've never been to Herculaneum. I would love to do that. When it comes to Pompeii, what stood out to you the most since you've been there so many times? Like what is your favorite thing about Pompeii, or the most interesting?
The House of the Faun, they've got a little Mr. Tumnus. I mean, it's not Mr. Tumnus, but Mr. Tumnus is based on the mythology of the faun from the ancient Mediterranean world.
Did not go there.
And the mosaic, you did. You went right by it. You probably just didn't hear it called that. The mosaic there on the floor of Alexander the Great it's the oldest good depiction of Alexander the Great that we have. It's, I think, the Battle of Gaugamela, which would be 330 something BC, and he's squaring off against Darius III of the Persians. So I like it too, because it's a magnificent Greco-Roman depiction of somebody from the Achaemenid Persian dynasty, and I like Persia. So it's this just amazing depiction of this super important ancient battle, and it's really intact. And if I showed it to you, you have seen this depiction of Alexander the Great, even if you
I can see it in my head right now. He's got like a pointy, triangular face, pointy jaw kind of thing. Yeah, I can see it in my head. It was in old social studies
Big
book,
eyes.
I think.
Yeah, that's it. That's right there. So I love that. The brothel certainly stood out to me as well. I went expecting to be shocked by all the bodies frozen in time, but I was pretty shocked by some of the habits and culture and art frozen in time. Like you, I found the brothel to be pretty bleak. I was really struck by the graffiti and the political posters that you could still see on the walls.
God,
they're
didn't
just
see
like
that.
us. That's fascinating.
What was disappointing is I didn't see a lot of that because we rolled into town. We told Chiro, we were like, we got 2 hours and we got to give us your best.
Ooh.
Like if you have 2 hours, that's all we saw. And I could have spent a week there, man. It was incredible.
Oh, did you see the amphitheater with the intact arcade?
Nope.
Courtyard all around it?
Nope. Didn't see that.
Oh.
I know, right?
We should go back, buddy. That would be fun.
Yeah, that'd be cool.
That would be fun, to Italy together someday. I would never go there that much if it weren't for work, but I'm lucky I have a job that makes it make sense to go to Italy a lot, and I will be back. Maybe someday we will Pompeii together. Down there by the theater, there's one more thing that is the most shocking thing I've maybe ever seen at a tourist site, and it's called the Garden of the Fugitives. I think that's the name. Did you make it there?
No, sure didn't.
It's a family that died in the flow. You can see the agony and the behavior of the whole family. As they're trying to flee, you can see the old people fall first, and you can see the kids fall next, just seconds after the old people. And then you can see the dad on his knees in agony, reaching back, trying to protect his family, but there's nothing he can do.
Oh, man.
And he's dead right there as well. That is the most intense visual, emotional connection that I feel with anybody from the ancient world, is that spot right there in that garden. And it's not their bodies. How does that work exactly? Did you come to understand that? It's like a negative?
No,
that's left behind?
Yes. So it is the bodies. It's the bones, at least. And so imagine you were to put me in concrete. I would eventually rot inside the void, but my bones would be...
This is the most fun I've ever had. Okay.
My bones would be there, and so that would leave a void where my flesh was. What the archaeologists did is, as they came across these voids, they would take plaster and inject them in the void. So that void would be Destin-shaped. And my understanding is some of the bodies at Pompeii, they're in really strange positions. They look contorted.
Mm-hmm.
This is kind of graphic, but it's because they're going into rigor mortis instantly. They're cooking. I hate, this is gross, but when I was in Africa one time, I was in a village. I visited my sister who was in the Peace Corps, and as I entered the village, they brought me a goat. They're like, hey, this is our gift to you, a goat. I was like, it's a whole goat? They're like, yeah, it's a goat. I was like, I named him Billy. And then they're like, a couple of days later, they started pressuring me. They was like, hey, man, you got to eat this goat. I was like, Billy? We're going to eat Billy? They're like, yeah. I was like, okay, cool. How are we going to cook Billy? And they go, you're going to roast him. I said, what does that mean? They said, it means we just cook him on the fire. We could cut him up, we could butcher him, and we could boil it, but it's going to be a lot faster if we just roast it. I said, okay, that's what we'll do. And so after we slaughtered Billy and we went to roast him, I noticed that his legs were in a certain position, but as he went over the fire and he started to cook, the sinews would draw up into different positions. And, when we butchered him and killed him quickly, but...
Just the fact that you're using anthropomorphic language to describe this is making it worse. I just want to give you that bit of real-time feedback here.
Does it help or hurt that the goat has a name?
Yeah, well, that hurts. Mm-hmm,
okay.
That...
So,
especially given the larger subject matter we're discussing here.
So
that's pretty bleak.
So anyway,
okay.
The bodies in Pompeii, a lot of them are not in the position where they died. Some of them are. Like Chiro showed us one position of a body where the person was clearly covering their mouth and trying to breathe with a cloth. However, some of the bodies that were exposed and heated by the pyroclastic flow, because it was hot where they were, their bodies would contort as a result of the heating after death.
Ooh.
I don't think if there was a tremendous amount of pain there, they would suffocate very quickly. It's horrible, dude.
Okay, what you're driving at right there, it's horrible.
Yeah, it's the worst.
And for me, I felt two things at the same time. Well, not even the first time I went to Pompeii. Every time I've been to Pompeii, I feel two things at the same time. One, I feel like I'm at the site of a massacre and that it hasn't been cleaned up yet.
Whoa.
And that I need to be incredibly reverent.
Yes.
Like the way I feel when I, down the road from me, not too far, is the battlefield for the Battle of Little Bighorn. You don't screw around there. When you go, you understand the vibe very quickly. Shut your mouth. Think about what happened here. This is pretty heavy. So I feel that sort of Gettysburg, Johnstown flood site. I don't know. So much loss happened here, and it's more present than anywhere else you go and encounter loss because kind of the bodies are still there.
Yeah.
But also, are you kidding? The 70s AD left us a town fully intact, and people dug up the town, and all the stuff was preserved, and you can still see the colors and the layout of the streets, and you can picture all of it. Well, this is like getting a time travel token.
It is.
And so I'm simultaneously giddy with excitement and interest when I'm there, and also feel like I need to be incredibly respectful and in mourning because the tragedy is still being dug up. We don't even know the extent of it yet.
Dude, the pipes, looking at the lead pipes around the like you have run PVC or copper or PEX pipe at your house. You've done that.
Sure.
You have to make decisions when you're doing that. You're like, man, I have to go to the left of this stud over that wall. I'm going to make a right angle turn there, so I'm going to need a junction. Looking at the lead pipes and seeing the real-time decisions that the plumber made. Oh, by the way, plumber, the word plumber comes from plumbum, from the lead. I mean, seeing all that in real time and say, man, there's a guy that figured that out with a brain just like mine. It's so cool.
Yeah.
It's amazing. It's incredible. And a lot of the times, the mosaics are fantastic. One of the things I thought about looking at some of the mosaics on the ground are, man, they figured this out without Microsoft Paint even. They just, I wonder what a fish looks like. I'm going to need some green rocks. You know?
Yeah, so it's just so much more than a museum site. It really is one of the weirdest, coolest, most interesting things I've ever seen in the world. And it's at the intersection of so many important history things that I care about. And you sort of feel the weight of all of it while you're there and their bodies.
The House of Vetti was amazing. The house owned by the...
What is that?
It's a house owned by the two wine merchant brothers. They were clearly rich. You can't buy a Lamborghini in ancient Rome, so they just had money boxes when you walk in the house. Yeah, there's a big bronze chest with their gold in it.
Okay, that maybe rings a bell. Is there a roof on this house?
There's a courtyard. I think most of the roofs collapsed due to the weight of the pyroclastic flow. But
well, I just mean when you go there now, is there a roof on it? I'm trying to picture.
There is a roof. There is. There's a courtyard. Well, as you walk in, there's the painting. It was in the video. There's a painting of Priapus, the Roman god, or maybe some kind of cult god.
I can picture him vividly.
Yeah. Priapus with the massive, how do you say this? Schlong? Just massive. Massive.
I thought you would go for some sort of
I was going
delicate thing so we don't have to put a warning at the front of this.
No.
And you went that route.
I was going with that because I wanted to shock you, because that's what the image does. You see it and you're like, whoa, what's going on?
Look at you, mister.
Wow. And so I think like that's the first thing you see when you walk in their house. That's what they want you to know about them. That and their money box, which I thought was...
That's what they want you to know.
Yeah.
That's so insightful. When you point your engineering brain at people's decision making, it is always fascinating to me. I mean, yeah, you're right. Why do you put that at the front of your house? That's the reputation you want. That's what you want people to know. Huh.
You know what it reminds me of? It reminds me of the... I'm sorry. I didn't give you a chance to say what it reminds me. What do you think it reminds me of? I'm sorry.
Dude, I have no idea. This is the house that has like the white colonnade, courtyard. It's the pretty one. The one where you feel like you maybe live in Pompeii or actually visiting it a little bit.
Yeah. And so it reminds me of this old YouTube commercial where the guy starts by going, I'm here in my garage with this, and he's got all these like Lamborghinis and stuff. Do you remember this commercial? I'm here in my garage.
No, continue.
It's just, and he's standing in front of all these fancy muscle cars, and what he's trying to communicate is, I'm rich, and the thing I'm about to tell you can make you rich.
Oh.
That's what it reminds me of. That kind of flaunting your money. I didn't like those guys. Like, I don't know them. I mean, maybe they survived. I don't know if they did or not, but they just did not seem like cool people. There's a thing when you're around a person that wants you to know they're rich. I don't know people like that in real life. I don't know people that are flaunt their money. I haven't been around that.
I know rich people, but it's a pretty weird thing. I don't know a lot of people who brag about it.
The people that I know that are wealthy, and I've met some people that are crazy wealthy, they do amazing things with what they've been blessed with. They do amazing things that they don't let anybody know they do. They help a lot of people.
Yep.
I have a lot of respect for that. I don't think the Vetti brothers were that way, because they have a massive...
I don't think they were that
They have
way.
a massive painting when you walk in. And they're like, look at this. So anyway, Vetti brothers were not my favorite people, but I thought it was amazing that I got to see it. Chiro was explaining it to me, and he said, look, this is how people with new money act, and they really want you to know they have money. And I thought, man, that's really interesting. So something about this house gets it where we can get into the psychology of the people. It was amazing. I loved it. So seeing all this stuff, seeing the brothel, seeing all the little statues, there's little shrines and stuff, which I talked about in the video, Acts 19.
Mm-hmm.
It made me think about something that's in line with a lot of stuff you talk about, and that is Jesus came to earth around this time, and the message of Christianity didn't come into a sunshine, and the world was very dark at that point in time, and people were being exploited. Like, a lot of the Roman Empire existed because of slave labor. That's how I understand it to have worked. And I got it. There's just as many slaves, if not more, in today's world.
Yeah.
In my country, it's not obvious. I got to believe there are people being exploited in America today and in the Western world. However, I think back then, there was a whole lot of slavery going on. There was a whole lot of sexual exploitation. There's just a lot of bad stuff going down.
Yeah.
I guess the difference is it was endorsed by society, not unlike slavery in the American South was in the early part of America.
Yeah, the slavery was different.
Almost worse?
In the American South? No, in the American South it was worse.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
The slavery in the Roman world, there was a bunch of it that was bad. In other places, it was a social structure to have the poor and uneducated participate in society and have some sort of upward mobility. That time, I mean, it's always slavery, so you're taking away somebody's freedom. I'm not going to ever be crazy about slavery as a concept, but the spectrum of slavery in the Roman world was much broader in terms of what it actually looked like day in and day out, ranging from horrible to that kind of just looks more like a job, whereas chattel slavery in the American South, there's not a real huge spectrum. It was just ugly plus ugly.
Yeah. One thing I thought was interesting is in the video, I said that it was a very vile time, and what I'm referring to is slavery being bad. And a lot of people were mad at me for calling that time vile, but I feel like it was vile. I mean, there's bad things in every time. There's bad things happening today, obviously, gestures wildly around, but I think it was pretty bad. I think it was vile, and I think I'm prepared to...
Certainly aspects of it.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, there were things about Roman society that needed to be reformed. There were things about Persian society. The little glimpses you got at the seedy underbelly of Roman culture are pretty bleak, and I think they were pretty accurate, the hints that you got from looking around Pompeii.
Yeah. Do you think we have it better today than then?
Huh. Wow.
My answer is yes, emphatically.
Yeah. I mean,
like,
yes and no.
There's no delay for me. It's like,
but my delay was Normally when you ask questions, there's a reason, and I just don't understand what the counter argument would be here, so it must be a trick.
No, it's not a trick.
Well, yes. I mean, I live better than Titus, the emperor of Rome, lived.
Great point.
Right now, in my little house, I have literally 3 toilets. If 2 of the toilets are taken up, I can just go to the 3rd. And if I get really desperate, I got kind of a little tree out in the backyard. But mostly, I have 3 toilets. I have a sink in those bathrooms, and I have a kitchen sink, and you can drink the water. You don't die at all from the water. I have a machine that cuts the grass. All I have to do is walk behind it. It cuts it, and it throws the grass in a bag so I don't have it out there rotting.
Wow.
It's incredible. I walk on carpet. The carpet, true, it's from Menards, so it's not the best carpet, but it's pretty good. I sleep in a comfortable bed. I have climate control. My friends never try to hurt me or kill me. I have great relationships with all my neighbors. There are policemen in town that protect us from bad things. The air is clean. The rivers are clean. You can see all the way to the bottom. There are fish in there. Yeah, stuff's great.
I agree. It's pretty good right now, man. I don't think it was as good then. I don't think it was as good. We obviously have injustice today. Obviously, there are marginalized portions of society. Where you're born in this world, greatly, if you're born with a father, that greatly determines your success in life. But in general, I think we got it pretty good today.
Yeah, if you receive any kind of education when your brain is squishy instead of being sent to work. Today I went and taught a bunch of juniors in high school, and this was my little opening talk about why I'm going to teach you the history of the world. Because everyone who's done great things got this when they were little, almost without exception. So they were given the gift of knowing the story they are a character in, and they got the gift of someone older than them framing that for them and saying, now this is what your moment is. Now figure out what role you're going to play.
Interesting.
Even that clarity sets you up for success so much better than never being told that.
That's fascinating. I've never thought about that, but you're right. That's what that is, isn't it? That's why you learn history. Huh.
Big part.
Yeah, that's amazing. I found it interesting realizing that Pompeii was in 79 AD. Christianity was just starting to take off. It probably hadn't made it to where Pompeii was yet in a big way.
Okay, I'll grant you that. Not in a big way. Yeah.
Yeah. To see what was in place and the sexual ethic of the day, it's like, man, this would be disruptive. This would be disruptive. And then the counter argument to that was, but the slavery in the Bible. That's a whole other discussion. Onesimus is where I would go with that. What do you have to say about that?
That's exactly the right place to go next. Okay, first of all, it's so comical when people read ancient documents and take a word translated from the ancient language and line it up against the modern English word. And they're like, that's the same word. Therefore, that's the same thing. It's not the same thing. These are different institutions. And even if you talk about slavery today, which kind, which era? Now, the slavery that existed in the former colonies in the early 20th century, the slavery that got shut down in the American Civil War, the English slave trade that got shut down in the early part of the 19th century. What are we talking about? Well, back then, even more so. Well, what do you mean slavery? And we get a little peek into what we mean by slavery in this tiny little micro book that people forget even exists toward the end of the Bible called Philemon. It's a personal letter written from Paul to a rich man named Philemon who owned a household. A household isn't like my house. A household is, there's a whole bunch of people under the roof. And they're going to have servants. You might call what they do a job. You might call them a bond servant. You might call them a slave. Depends on how you translate it. Depends on the particulars of what they did. And Philemon's slave, bond servant, employee, depending on how you slice it, makes his way to Rome and finds Paul in prison. And Paul's like, you got to go back to your master, and I'm going to send you with a letter saying he's your brother in Christ and you should free him and you should treat him like a brother. And there was just, no one did that. That was unthinkable in the first century. That was completely countercultural. So the New Testament definitely acknowledges there is slavery, and if that happens to be where you are, here's the right way to conduct yourself if you're a Christian. Also, if you happen to have a slave, here's the most bold, forward-thinking language that we ever see anywhere about the idea of liberating slaves from the ancient world. The Bible is so wildly forward-thinking in that regard. So yeah, it's a pretty common misnomer, the whole, the Bible promotes slavery. I mean, I'm up for the conversation, but there's a lot of layers to that conversation, and I would strongly stand behind the suggestion that the Bible was leading the way in a conversation nobody else was having about reevaluating the institution of slavery.
And Onesimus was the slave, right?
Yeah, Onesimus was the slave. Philemon was his master.
Yeah.
And Paul in the letter, he's like, hey, as a Christian leader who is the spiritual father of your church there in the city of Colossae in central modern day Turkey, I could order you to set him free, but I want you to do it for me. Set him free because it's right. Do it. I expect you will do it. It's a pretty interesting power dynamic going on there too.
That's fascinating. It was disruptive. Reading Acts 19 when Demetrius, the silversmith, got ticked off because he was making these little shrines, and he recognized oh snap, if this Christianity thing takes off, it totally wrecks our business. And so he created a big riot.
Yeah.
That was in Ephesus. That was in Turkey. It's just fascinating to see all this stuff play out and realize the moment in time that it played out in.
I know that we're both doing a little bit of research in the background while we're talking.
Yeah.
And I have come across something that I don't think you've seen yet.
Okay.
It looks like they're
done a lot of research, so I'd be surprised if you found something I haven't seen before, because I'm approaching total knowledge commitment. That's a joke.
Yeah, and I know you're right there, but this is just one of those humbling moments that you're about to have where you realize, you never really know everything. It turns out there's preserved an audio recording from Pompeii.
They had audio recording
like it's not
technology?
Perfect. Well, it's hard to say specifically how it was recorded. The website doesn't say, but there's a link here. It's blue. It's unclicked. It's a .mp3 file. I'm sure that wasn't the original format.
I wonder if this was part of the Herculaneum Scrolls
MP3s.
project. Are you familiar with the Herculaneum Scrolls project?
No, I'm not approaching total knowledge on the subject yet.
So there were some scrolls in a library found in Herculaneum, just on the other side of the bay there, and they were charred. And what they're doing is they're doing this really fancy, I'm assuming it's like CT scans of the scrolls, and they're able to use AI to unroll the scrolls. And they actually had a challenge about it, and I think it was a young man in Kentucky that figured it out. Are you familiar with this?
I am familiar with that, but I didn't remember that the scrolls were from Herculaneum. I had it in my head they were from Pompeii.
No, those were it's called the Vesuvius Challenge. The Vesuvius Challenge was launched March 2023.
Oh.
And it looks like the Digital Restoration Initiative at the University of Kentucky figured it out. And it looks like, that's where they started actually being able to unravel some of those scrolls, which is awesome. Isn't that cool?
The implications for that, when you start thinking about Persia, that there's so many things we have that are wrecked, that if they can become unwrecked through those kind of processes, it's not going to happen overnight. It's going to take a lifetime to do it. But we might have a larger chunk of the Library of Alexandria still accessible to us and intact than we thought if those kind of processes do what they claim to be able to do. That's a historian's dream. That's amazing.
That is amazing. So you were telling me, here it is. Students decipher 2,000-year-old Herculaneum scrolls. There it is. It looks like they were, I'm going to do Control F for Kentucky. Yep, there it is. A team of researchers at the University of Kentucky. Kentucky gets a lot of things right. Have you noticed that?
Isn't that something? Yeah.
They do.
Horse racing.
Chicken.
Gold holding.
What?
Chicken.
Yeah. Bob Claggett They get Bob Claggett right.
Yeah. Baseball bats.
Yeah. Kentucky just gets a lot of stuff right.
Grass.
Including deciphering 2,000-year-old charred Herculaneum scrolls. Yeah. Big fan of Kentucky.
So what I'm seeing here is all I can assume is that maybe, I don't know, the details aren't clear, but I'm wondering if maybe someone grooved parchment in such a way that it could be deciphered in such a way so as to produce sound, maybe like an old wax cylinder record. I don't know.
And to be clear, you're 100% like truthful right now. There's nothing about our tone of voices or anything that could be, I don't know, like fake right now. This is just totally awesome and real, right?
Destin, you don't lie on podcasts.
Yeah, it's on the internet. You can't do that.
It bothers me that you even. Yeah, that sounded leading.
Yeah,
and I didn't like that.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. Could a person who's saying a thing that's definitely true and isn't just setting up a bit make this sound? As if.
No.
See?
Couldn't happen.
No.
So what did you find? You found a sound recording from Pompeii. Are we going to hear like the volcano erupt? Does it say what it is?
It doesn't say what it is. There's not even a date on it. I mean, I can click on it, but there's just no telling what we're going to hear. You know what? Let's just not do it, man.
No, let's do it.
I'm afraid that we're going to click on this in real time. You
remember we found that recording before and we didn't know what it was and we played it and it was those two guys named Barnacles and Testicles and they were like in the moment, the sponge diver team. You remember that? The Antikythera mechanism?
Yeah, which you would have thought would be impossible, but I guess if technology like an Antikythera mechanism could exist.
What if it's something like that?
Then I suppose ancient recordings could exist.
What if it's like Barnacles and Testicles, but they're like at Vesuvius? That'd be crazy, dude. Play it. Let's play it.
That'd be quite the coincidence. Okay. Yeah, you have said it is so. I'm going to take the risk. Clicking.
Yeah. If it's old, it might not open properly. If you'll right-click and open with Winamp, I'm sure you still have that. Yeah. Open with Winamp.
Right-click. Winamp. Sure. Here we go.
Okay.
Fair Barnacles, this is amazing. Have you ever seen something like this? I'm fascinated by this.
Oh, there, Testicles, we have only been talking for but a moment, and your accent is already baffling.
Wait, hold on, Barnacles. We are here, standing in the armpit of Italy, and your accent is not Latin, so to speak, or maybe it is. Well, what is your nationality again? I am, of course, here with the military engineer, Roque Joaquin de Alvear, if that's how you say his name, the Spanish military engineer, here making excavations at the foot of the volcano. What are you doing?
Por supuesto. Obviamente estoy de España. Porque es la hora excavar las ruinas de este lugar. Or, as you might say with your baffling accent, I am from Spain, and we are here to excavate the ruins of this glorious place.
I see. So, the year, if I recall, my accent's changing in real time. I don't know what to do.
Again, I could not help but notice. He's dizzying.
If I recall, the year is 1748.
Indeed, of our Lord.
Yes, and ever since we have discovered the remains of a strange building in 1738, we've been wanting to come back here and do some excavations and see what we can find. And so I am excited to get the team over. Men, come here. Aquí. Yes, start digging here, and we will see what we find. Barnacles, can you please deal with the reporters over there? Can you please deal with them? I'm going to begin digging here.
Testicles, mi hermano.
Yes.
Let me explain primeramente what I imagine is about to happen. We will bring the press of curious reporters over here. We will excavate this first building, which is no doubt a part of the great lost city of Pompeii. We will pull from the ground artifacts holding deep ancient knowledge. which will reconnect us with the genius of the ancients, and we will reveal it to humankind, ushering in a new age of enlightenment in these modern times as a blessing from the people who came long ago. That is what we are about to do.
This sounds amazing. This is fantastic.
Obviously.
One question, Barnacles. We don't know yet here now in 1748 if this is indeed
1748, year of our Lord.
Yes, we do not know if this is indeed the city of Pompeii. We think, we have speculations that is what it is, but we do not know. So,
Testicles, you are an embarrassing dolt. You bring shame to your family. Obviously, this is Pompeii.
Well,
We have already discovered and confirmed the location of Herculaneum. And our ancient sources tell us precisely the location of the lost city of Pompeii. We may not have found the inscription yet, but time will tell. I imagine it'll be about approximately the 20th of August, 1763, the year of our Lord, when we will uncover the words Re Republicae Pompeiorum. And we will know for certain that this is the city in which we dig.
yeah,
Your lack of faith disappoints me.
verdad, very true. But it is still true. We do not know yet that this is Pompeii. So I agree with you. You handle the press and the reporters, and I will talk to the excavators here on our Spanish military engineering team, and we will begin to unearth the artifacts. So go over,
Si.
talk to them, and
Si.
I will. 1 second. Jose, you aquí. Dig right here. The soil is loose here. Just dig here. Okay. Yes, hand it to me. hand
Okay,
it to
so
me.
I'm just gonna go set them up.
Yes, do
For
that.
the whole
You do
thing.
that. Yes.
So that when we come over, you will definitely have some artifacts.
Yes, of course, of
from
course.
ancient times,
Of
which will
course.
shed light on the brilliance of the ancient Romans.
Of course.
And we will uncover and unlock their secrets, ushering in a new age of technological and cultural advancement from their wisdom. Yes, see?
Of course. Yes. Okay.
Okay, have something
the
good
shovel.
when
Now
I
the
come back
shovel
over.
right
Do not
here.
embarrass me again.
Of course.
Okay.
The shovel
Okay,
aquí.
un momento.
So dig right here. Dig here and then over
Okay,
there.
you are there. The press corps.
Yeah.
Yeah, come over here.
Yes. Okay.
Come on.
Uh-huh.
Yes, right this way.
Yes. Okay.
Yes,
Hand it to me. Oh, this is
Excellent.
excellent. Oh, that is
hermano,
That's
testicles.
right. Barnacles, we have
Listo.
received the first artifact from the whole Jose. Give it to
Tell me
Barnacles. Barnacles, make the presentation.
Tell me nothing, show me nothing. Leave it under this cloth.
Okay. We are.
Ladies and gentlemen, esteemed members of the press, we welcome you to the yet unconfirmed but certainly ancient great lost city of Pompeii. And now, I prepare to reveal to you a wonder from the ancient world hidden under the rubble and ash for nearly 2,000 years that will awaken you to the brilliance of the ancient Romans and usher in a new age of enlightenment in these modern times.
We are ready.
Do you need to jump? Okay.
We are ready to uncover. Are you ready? Okay. Uno,
Okay.
dos, and tres. Reveal.
Behold! Okay.
Okay.
Thi-
Jose.
That is,
Jose, is this a joke?
a little bit disappointment.
It is a statue with a massive
Tango
penis.
Vergüenza.
This is not. Jose! Are you making
okay.
another joke? Are you making
is
a fool
another
of me?
joke. Okay,
Apparently, Barnacles, this is the real artifact.
desfortunadamente, it's just a penis. This one is just a penis.
Okay, hold on.
That
Let me
is
go
not
back
the
into the
ancient
boys.
wisdom.
Okay.
Get something else that give me a different artifact.
Mr.
Hold on,
Gonzalez. Senor Gonzalez. Aquí. Okay. Jose
okay.
is no.
This
We have
confirms
done
that they
away.
had the penises back then.
We
it's not a total loss.
We have done away with Jose. Now I have Senor Gonzalez. Senor Gonzalez, please. Do you have the artifact? Yes. What is it? Hold on. 1 second. Let me. He says it's art.
Prefermente something better. Yes.
This is art. Something. A painting. Yes. Okay. An ancient painting.
Some sort of painting.
Okay,
Put it
yes.
under the cloth so I
Okay.
can do the big reveal thing again.
okay,
Ladies and gentlemen of the press, esteemed visitors, behold what I reveal to you on the count of 3. Ancient art from our Roman predecessors, showing us a glimpse into their brilliant, enlightened minds. Por favor, testicles, count it down.
1, dos, tres, reveal!
Behold! Okay, it's just some people having sex again. Okay, that's... Wow.
Okay, this is not going well. Should we have the press corps to leave? Should we have the press corps to leave? Sure.
That's, well, we know...
With all the
We know
artifacts...
that they were very limber.
Hold on. One more thing. 1 second. Let me go.
Remarkably supple.
We will go.
Yes.
Senor Gonzalez, you may take your lunch. Let me go one more time. Okay.
Yeah, permanent lunch. It's deeply disappointing.
Okay.
This is all part of it.
Okay,
This
so
is to
Senor
warm you up.
Maduro has
Esteemed
brought us
members, Senor Maduro.
our latest artifact.
Muy reliable.
I do not think we should
Okay.
put it under the sheet again. I don't like the way
I
that's...
think we should do the sheet. I like the sheet. The
Okay,
sheet
okay,
makes
it's under
it
the
look
sheet.
cooler.
Senor
They're
Maduro,
going to like it
please
when
present
it works.
the
It's going to
artifact
be.
to
It's
Senor
going to be
Testicles.
the
Or
sheet.
Barnacles. I'm
This.
Testicles. Okay, here
I
you
am
go.
Barnacles.
Barnacles, you have it.
yourself. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, hermano. Testicles.
Yes.
Prepare to count it down. Ladies and gentlemen, esteemed members of the press. Those first two ones were just kind of funny jokes. But this one shows you what the people of Pompeii knew. Ancient secrets that we now unlock and reveal to you in this moment. Testicles, the countdown.
Tres, dos, uno, reveal!
Behold! Okay, it's just an even bigger penis. This is... I'm... So much bigger. This is
This is
not what...
what we wanted to happen, Barnacles. I think...
Probably the good stuff is under the penises. It's just deeper, much deeper.
I think we stop for the day, and we go
I
and we
think
take a
maybe
siesta.
we take a break.
Yes, let's take a break. Okay, let's go.
See, lo siento. We will dig deeper. We will get past the penis layer, as it is called, and we will get down to the real good stuff layer, and then we will learn the secrets of the ancients.
Gosh, man, that was
First,
a total bummer on the reveal there, man. Can you imagine being
Huge
the Spanish
disappointment.
archaeologist?
Yeah, and I mean, sensibilities changed over time, and the popularity of visiting Pompeii went up. It became more fashionable, but that was a really humiliating day in 1748 for Roque Joaquin de Alcubierre. I don't know how to pronounce his name.
I don't know how to say his name either.
But a remarkable preservation of that recording. I mean, that's one of the clearest I've heard.
Yeah, which would make sense because I don't think a recording could survive the actual volcano. Now, I thought we were going to hear from the explosion of the volcano, but I think so many people died. It's probably too soon for something like that. That seems like that kind of skit would have been in bad taste, don't you think?
I don't know what you mean by skit, but it seems like such a recording, to even play it, to hear the horrors, it's always too soon for something like that.
I think
and
so.
it's nearly too soon for a state level embarrassment like what happened to the Spanish when they tried to reveal the secrets of the ancient Romans and it turned out to just be penises. I heard they had entire freight trucks just full of penises in those first few years of excavation. It was a highly sexualized culture there in Pompeii.
No, it actually was. And so that was one of the things that
Yes, it was.
that kind of took me by surprise, seeing the art on the walls. And the thing that just really bugged me
I think it
is
took a lot of people by surprise. Yeah.
going to the spa and seeing the what appeared to be a brothel built into the spa, and you could order different people doing different things just by pointing at the menu, almost like a Burger King style, like, I'll have a number one, please. That was bizarre. I found that to be pretty weird and sad. Very sad, because
The first time I went, I was with, oh, sorry, dude. Keep going.
I was going to say that it's just sad because, a lot of that was probably built on slavery and exploitation of people in just horrible situations.
Yeah, surely it was. And the representations of it were really jarring. The first time I went to Italy, I took a bunch of college-age students who at the time were just a little bit younger than me. And pretty much everybody on the trip, is single and in that put on a backpack and go explore Europe age of life. And so, a lot of church kids too. So I just didn't know that Pompeii was so culturally and visually overtly sexual, but it's there. That's part of the experience.
Yeah, it was pretty wild. I thought it was going to be a lot more about the engineering stuff when I went, and I found the cultural stuff to be more fascinating. Tara thought it was very interesting how everything was built on the human scale. I thought her observations were very interesting. She's like, yeah, the way the shops and the houses were built a certain distance from the next shop or house, she found that to be fascinating, which I thought was a very interesting anecdote. Whereas I was struck more by the cultural
stuff. As opposed to the
stuff.
Automobile scale? What do you mean the human scale in that context?
Yeah, I've heard that Charleston, South Carolina is built to be walkable. I've never been there, but I've heard that.
I have. It's cool.
Is it?
Yeah, I guess I could see that.
I really thought it was transformative for me. My wife and I, and we really loved it. We took away different things from it. Tara just enjoyed being there and seeing how, like, we could walk the streets the way a person in the ancient Roman Empire would walk the streets. She really enjoyed the physicality of it. It was just impressive. So I highly recommend people go. If you can swing it, I don't know if his rates are going to go up after this, but Chiro and his dad, PompeyTourGuide.com, I hope his rates go up. Like, I hope his business changes as a result of that video. That's my sincere hope. I don't know how that's going to work, but Tara sought him out, found him, and it's a bucket list thing for me. It took me from the moment I read about it to the moment I went. It was 30 years for me. I read about it as a young child and always wanted to go. So it was a huge deal.
Yeah, and maybe someday we should just do a Rome on the cheap episode. I've done it so much, and I get asked so often, including by our peers, people who make internet videos and stuff. People ask me all the time to walk them through how to do it and how to do it cheap and how to see everything. And maybe someday we just get that in, and then people have it in their hip pocket, and if they ever want to go, there's a way to do it. But even if we don't do that, if you want the cheap hack and you're coming from North America, Christmas time is great. Getting there right after Christmas, the weather is still good, things are kind of emptied out. You can go south to Pompeii, you can go north if you're there a little before Christmas and get in the German Christmas markets up in the Alps. It's a pretty affordable trip, and you'll see really neat things.
That's amazing. That'd be awesome. Dude, I enjoyed this. I need to go to a kid's sporting event, but I appreciate the conversation. It's fascinating. And I will change the way I think about George Brett. That might be my takeaway from this.
That is what I hoped would come from this episode. Nice video, dude. I really liked it. Great job. You continue to be good at that.
I enjoy it. Thank you very much for the compliment. I appreciate that.
Right on. Talk to you soon, buddy.
Later, man.
Behold! Okay, it's just an even bigger penis.